Yesterday, I told you that Republicans are trying to pass a reconciliation bill that funds ICE through 2029. ICE is already funded through 2029, so that means that this bill is a slush fund dressed it up as border security. Today, I want to explain exactly how this bill moves through Congress, what the rules say has to happen before it can pass, and what Republicans are trying to sneak inside it while nobody is watching. Here's where we are right now. The bill is moving through Senate committees. Rand Paul's Homeland Security Committee is doing the markup because Chuck Grassley's could not get the votes in his own Judiciary Committee. That is not a small detail. That the lead Republican on this bill could not get his own committee to advance it. That tells you something. After markup, the bill goes to the Senate floor. This is where the Byrd rule kicks in. The Byrd rule says that anything in the reconciliation bill that does not have a direct impact on federal spending or revenue gets thrown out. Senators can bring what are called Byrd rule challenges against individual provisions. If a provision fails the Byrd rule, it gets stripped from the bill before the final vote. Then comes cloture. That is the vote to end debate and move to a final vote. Under normal Senate rules, you need 60 votes to get there. However, reconciliation only requires 51. That means Republicans can pass this bill without a single Democratic vote. They have 53 seats. They can lose 2 and still pass it with Vice President Vance breaking the tie. But Fetterman already showed us where he stands. He crossed the aisle on the Warsh cloture vote yesterday, and if he voted yes on this bill, Democrats are down to 46 effective no votes. That means we need 4 Republican senators to vote to kill this bill outright. Not to delay it, not to amend it, to kill it. Collins, Murkowski, Tillis, and McConnell. That is the math. All 4 have to hold. 1 breaks and this bill passes. After cloture, what they go into is called a vote-a-rama, a marathon session where senators can offer unlimited amendments. This is where Democrats plan to force Republicans to vote, on record, vote by vote, on everything toxic inside this bill. And there's a lot inside this bill. Here's what Chuck Grassley's Judiciary Committee put it in it before they lost the votes to even advance it. $1 billion for security upgrades tied to Donald Trump's White House ballroom. The same ballroom Trump said on camera would cost taxpayers nothing, not 1 dime, he said. Now here's what the ballroom lawsuit revealed. The National Trust for Historic Preservation sued to stop construction. The Trump administration had to defend itself in court, and in those court filings, their own lawyers described what is being built underground. Their words, not mine. Bomb shelters, a hospital, medical facilities, biodefense systems, secure telecommunications, and top-secret military installations. The White House already has a medical unit. The president is never more than 20 minutes away from Walter Reed. Air Force One has a full surgical suite. Presidential medical care has been a solved problem for decades. The administration has not explained what scenario requires a brand new underground hospital on White House grounds that does not already exist. Now let's look at who is paying for the part above ground. Amazon, Microsoft, Google, Palantir, Bose Allen Hamilton, Lockheed Martin, and a company called Carrier Corporation, which makes cooling systems specifically designed for data centers. That donor list does not read like sponsors of a ballroom. It reads like a supply chain for a secure computing facility. The ballroom is what triggered the lawsuit that forced the administration to describe what they are actually building. Congress was never asked to authorize any of this. No public input, no environmental review, no congressional approval. They demolished a wing of the White House that had stood since 1902 and just started building. Then his own administration filed in federal court that Secret Service construction was required to complete the underground work. Then Chuck Grassley put $1 billion in the reconciliation bill to pay for it. Then the White House said it is not for the ballroom, it is for security. Security that would not exist if there were no ballroom. That is 3 moves to get taxpayer money into a project Trump promised taxpayer would never touch. Committee markup, court ruling, and reconciliation bill. The promise lasted for about 4 months. And here's why they structured it that way. Judge Richard Leon ordered construction to stop until Congress authorized it, but his order included an exception. Construction necessary to ensure the safety and security of the White House can continue without congressional approval. So the administration immediately reframed everything underground as a security project. Bomb shelters, medical facilities, telecommunications, top secret military installations, all of it fall under the security exception. All of it bypasses Congress, and all of it bypasses the public. And all of it gets paid for by tucking $1 billion into the reconciliation bill as a Secret Service line item. They did not need congressional approval because they called it a security issue. Then they do not need to tell you what they are building because they call it classified. And then they do not need to admit taxpayers are paying for it because they called it a Secret Service enhancement. And now they want you to pay for all of it through a reconciliation bill that is supposed to be about immigration enforcement. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Tom Tillis, and Mitch McConnell, I'm calling on you directly. Tillis, you already killed the Grassley markup. You already showed that you have doubts. Finish the job. Collins, you are on the ballot in 2026 in a state that does not want this bill. Murkowski, your constituents in Alaska are paying $5 a gallon for gas because of a war this administration started. They cannot afford $1 billion underground construction project for a president who promised it would be free. Vote this bill down, all of it. If you want this bill stopped, call your senator today. The number for the Senate switchboard is 202-224-3121. Tell them to vote no on the reconciliation bill, no on the ICE slush fund, no to the ballroom billion, and no to all of it. I am Lydia Christensen. I'm running for the U.S. Senate in Michigan as an independent. Make sure you hit that follow button for daily coverage of what is actually happening in the Senate.